The slap echoed down the hallway like a lightning strike. Students who were walking to class stopped in their tracks. Conversations died mid-sentence. The sound had been too loud, too sharp to ignore. Lena Park stood still, a red mark blooming across her cheek. Her books were clutched tightly in her hands, her knuckles white from the grip. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She didn't even blink. Across from her stood Derek Miles, tall, athletic, always loud, always grinning. He stood with his hands still raised, the last trace of the slap fading from his fingers. Behind him, two of his friends leaned against lockers, smirking like they'd just witnessed something hilarious. Derek chuckled and took a step closer to Lena. Still nothing. Not even a squeak, he said, his voice loud enough for anyone nearby to hear. Lena didn't respond. She kept her eyes fixed forward, face calm, unreadable. She was used to this. They had been bothering her for weeks. Teasing, mocking, pushing her books off her desk, calling her names like ghost or library rat. And through all of it, she never reacted. She never gave them what they wanted. But today, Derek had taken it too far. Come on, say something, Derek said again, leaning in. Or you gonna cry now? Lena finally spoke. Her voice was quiet, even. You shouldn't have done that. Derek scoffed and lifted his hand, clearly ready to push her again. Maybe another slap. Maybe just to humiliate her in front of the few students standing nearby. His arm moved fast. But Lena moved faster. In one smooth, precise motion, she dropped her books, stepped to the side, and grabbed Derek's wrist with both hands. His smirk vanished instantly. Before he could react, she twisted his arm behind his back and locked her grip around his elbow. There was a pause. Then a sickening pop echoed through the hallway, followed by a scream. Derek dropped to his knees, gasping in pain, his other hand gripping his elbow. His face twisted in shock as the pain shot up his arm. His friends went pale. No one stepped forward. No one said a word. Seconds later, a classroom door burst open and a teacher ran out. What happened? She demanded, her eyes landing on Derek writhing on the floor and Lena standing calmly nearby. Lena didn't hesitate. He slapped me, she said, looking directly at the teacher. Then tried to do it again. I defended myself. Derek's friends tried to speak, but nothing coherent came out. By then, several students had their phones out, recording everything. The moment had already gone viral within the school. It wouldn't take long before the whole building knew. Derek was taken to the nurse's office, and from there to the hospital. His elbow had been dislocated, nothing permanent, but serious enough to end his football season. Lena was called to the principal's office, her parents summoned soon after. Derek's family tried to claim she attacked him without provocation. They demanded action, called her dangerous. But the truth was already everywhere. Students had recorded the slap, the taunts, everything. Teachers backed her up. So did the school's hallway cameras. Lena didn't deny anything. She didn't have to. Her calm words and the evidence spoke louder than any defense. She faced no punishment. Derek, on the other hand, was suspended indefinitely. The school board opened an investigation into his past behavior. And most importantly, the fear and control he once held over others vanished the moment Lena dropped him in front of half the junior class. In the days that followed, everything changed. Lena didn't act differently. She still wore the same hoodie, still walked with the same quiet steps, still kept her head down in the halls. But now, people noticed her. Not out of fear. Out of respect. Students who had once looked away when she was being picked on started speaking up. Some even came up to her quietly and said thank you. A group of younger girls asked if she could teach them some self-defense moves. She agreed, but only if they took it seriously. No one knew Lena had been training in jiu-jitsu since she was 8 years old. Her mother was an instructor. Her father was a former military trainer. Self-defense wasn't just something she did. It was how she was raised. Not to attack. Not to show off. But to stand her ground when someone tried to hurt her. And that's exactly what she had done. The school didn't change overnight. Bullies didn't disappear in a week. But something had shifted. A message had been sent. Lena hadn't fought for revenge. She hadn't done it to go viral or to prove a point. She had simply made a choice not to let someone else control her anymore. And for Derek Miles, slapping the quiet girl in the hallway wasn't just a mistake. It was the last mistake he ever made at that school.